Hey, so I want to discuss a move that you can do in your business in literally 30 days to absolutely impact your future in retirement down the road, actively impact your company's health as far as asset protection and risk mitigation with literally one move. So I'm not in the business, you guys, of, doing, one thing that just kind of does okay. Like, business requires finesse. It requires doing one move that affects four things, because that's the nature of succeeding. It's like, I'm not going to spend all this time to do one thing for one minor change. I'm going to do one thing that changes five things. So let me get right into this. So an electrical contractor that I've been working with for probably the last year and a half, and I was just reminded as to why we do this strategy. I actually met him at a mastermind event. He's been running this company since he was, out of high school, 18, learned the electrical trades, and then obviously started his company and has grown it. Multiple guys, commercial, residential, and they're back east in Ohio. Small town, big numbers, great revenue, amazing at what they do, family business, kids are involved, whole nine yards. Well, when he started his company, he was taught, you just keep your holdings in your operating account. That's what you kind of have. That's what you keep your money. And he had built up and kept about $400,000 sitting in an operational account that this company owns. And so he's going about his business, living life, working, and then just stacking this money, buying vehicles as needed. You guys, in the amount of risk to just have money in an account for your company, that in itself is a kind of a red flag that you need to focus on. Okay, so, and mind you guys, dude, I'm like getting used to this talking and walking, so I'm trying to figure out, do I hold it out here, do I hold it here? So give me some grace, will you? So anyways, keeping money in that account literally does nothing other than have access. That is it. So if one of his guys burns something down and there's a lawsuit, all funds get locked up in lawsuit. Everything that's up for grabs gets locked up and you can't move anything. And I don't know if you know that, but that's what happens in lawsuit. So this money is on the table in lawsuit. The only reason he has it there is for liquidity purposes, okay? And so, extend this a little more, forgive me. Let's try that. Yeah, it seems a little better. So the money's there. Too much risk, lawsuits, the business can be penetrated and that money is stalled for payroll. It's stalled for other things. So one, that's a really big issue. And so the fix is we transferred it. It was already taxed, right? This money we got out of the company and we put it into his private personal name. Didn't stop there though. We ended up taking the money and putting it in life insurance contracts, old school whole life insurance contracts. None of this nonsense IUL, variable cannibalizing IULs that are sold by MLM companies with guys with a bunch of tattoos who just started, okay? We're talking old school wealth building stuff. Crunchy whole life, guaranteed death benefit, guaranteed level premium on the product, so it's not like it changes with the market like IULs, okay? And so now we have the money outside of the company. It's getting about a 4 to 6% rate of return with no risk, just to park it there. Now remember, I didn't say he put it into an investment. He put it into, and I didn't say investment because investment entails principal risk. Markets, loss, up, down, right? Counterparty risk. The CEO comes out and says that we stand for real marriage between man and a woman, and the stock tanks. Well, I don't know if the stock would tank, probably get supported by America, but whatever the CEO says, like, that's counterparty risk. So if he says, well, I'm just going to go put that in Coca-Cola, stable stock, like, yeah, but you have risk. So all we did was transfer it to an insurance company. They hold it, they grow it, and infinite banking is growing legs. People are starting to understand that this is what wealthy people do. They don't buy the whole buy term and invest the difference thing that all the gurus are saying. They're starting to see the actual need for these products. And let's talk about that. He's a father of 6. He's a father of 6 kids, and there's only one over the age of 18. So if anything happens to him personally, anything, he needs money to show up. So now he's taking cash, he's letting it sit into a place with the best risk managers in the world. Hands down, bar none. If he gets a terminal diagnosis of any form, any sort, to where his doctor says, hey, you know, it's bad, you're going to pass away in the next year, we actually get to pre-cut him a check for $250,000 of his death benefit that his wife would have got. We're going to give him $250,000 while he's alive. Does that cure his cancer or whatever the terminal illness is? No. But it also doesn't financially wreck him. Now he can, you know, elevate somebody in the company, hire a CEO, prep to sell the company, get the kids ready. But he is now liquid, $250,000 that he wasn't before. So now he can go about his treatments. He can go down to South America, you know, get better health, things of that nature, where they're actually impacting cancer rates. So the money's outside of the company. It's protected 4 to 6% growing. If he needs money in the company, like he's thinking, all he does is personally loan money from himself to the company at 15% interest. Now, the company has a debt on the balance sheet and actually has to write a check to him to pay that back, dropping the company's tax liability. Now, we don't recommend it that way. There's better ways to do that off camera. And maybe we'll get into it on one of these walks. But so nonetheless, he can call the money to the company or to the company from the company position. He can personally lend it as a debt. Now the company's encumbered by debt. And so if an attorney looks at the company and says, hey, what assets do they have here? They don't have much. They actually have a lot of debt on the books. Well, that's all from his side. So he can get the money to the company, reduce the tax liability in the company now, showing pretty much a loss for paying principal and interest. He also now is in a protected position, and of that $400,000, the liquidity is around 85% in 30 days. So I encouraged him, get a line of credit built up that you can use in the company right now. You know, swipe a credit card. And all you do is use the insurance company to pay that credit card off. And so now we don't have liquidity issues. Money's protected. He's protected. So he's growing the money 4 to 6% now. So now his retirement is building. And after another 20 years of this money growing casually at 4 to 6%, it's going to build up to close to $1 million. And he's going to be able to distribute that tax-free in retirement. So you guys, this is leverage. This is one move that's literally going to affect multiple things. And if he dies in his 80s, he's going to be leaving over $3 million to his family with this one contract. That is super, super, super powerful for his estate planning needs, for his legacy planning needs. And so we actually now get to teach the children how to leverage these life insurance policies, which he actually wanted to. So he's doing a very small premium, $2,000 a year on the kids that are under 10. And he's building up these insurance policies on these kids. Instead of a 529 plan, he actually gets to control this cash, use it in his company. If and when the kids are mature enough, he can actually give it to the kids if he wants to. If they don't show signs of maturity, he can maintain those contracts, the cash value in them, distribute them out. But the main thing here, guys, is way too many people keep excess holdings inside of their banks, or their businesses. Get it out. I'm not even saying you have to do an insurance contract. It just made complete sense for this guy to do it because of the amount of risk he was carrying if he gets sick. Now let's talk about that. This life insurance contract in his older age is actually going to be his long-term care. So depending on where you live, they say anywhere between $6,000 and $12,000 a month for long-term care if you have to go into a nursing home. And Medicare and Medicaid doesn't kick in until you spend down your personal assets. The government's smart. They're like, we'll help you. Burn all your own ships first and then we'll help you. So, by having his life insurance policy set up, as soon as he fails to meet 2 of 7 daily habits, he actually starts to get his life insurance policy to use it for his long-term care. That's in-home nursing, that's in a nursing home, and he can start to burn down that death benefit while he's alive. So now he's got his long-term care taken care of, he's got terminal care taken care of. Sadly, cancer is a real thing for a lot of people. I hope it's not him. But I've got 3 guys right now with cancer cases under the age of 50. So cancer is real. The industry is not getting any better. All the races, all the walks, run for this, jump for that. Cancer rates are on the incline. So you have to prepare for that risk. And what better way to do it than partner with a 150-year-old company who knows how to manage risk, knows how to manage liability, knows how to protect your family's interests, and multiply the money so you can use it. So that's what this walk and talk about today is about. Looking at your holdings, getting them out of the company, structuring the cash to where you're still super liquid within 30 days. Now you have a tax-free asset growing. You have long-term care going. You have provisions in case you get sick, and you're building a tax-free retirement. Granted, everything aligns. There's no issues, anything to that effect. And so that's what I want you guys to know is it's a very good choice to simply make by just doing one move. Reposition the cash, make your company even more resilient, take advantage of investments outside of the company and make that money work for you and your family. So I hope that was super helpful. I hope you got some value from that. If you did, go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel and I'll give you these walk and talks into some more advanced stuff for estate planning, tax planning, and ultimately so you and your family can run a successful business, stay out of the dangers that plague businesses, and allow you to create a massive generational wealth program so your children don't have to start over every generation like they want us to. So thanks a lot and see you later.